A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the first edition of the show for the week. Promises to be exciting. From the city of Lagos, right here in Nigeria, I'm Yemi Adebayo.
Always a delight to have you join us to talk sports right here in London. I'm Austin Okonakwan. Yemi, we are still celebrating the victory of Toby Amusan and Esther Brume at the World Championships. It's almost unreal. These are good times for athletics in Nigeria.
Very good times, and the viewers will forgive us if we dedicate the whole show to Team Nigeria's exploits in Eugene, Oregon. First ever gold medal in that competition. We knew it could happen. We didn't know it was going to happen the way it happened. And of course, we're lost for words. Our tongue is tied, but we are in a celebratory mood, just as every Nigerian is. And even you listen to other African commentators calling Toby Amusan Africa's. So, and I'm joking, I'm laughing about it. Oh, she's no more Nigeria's Toby Amusan. She's now Africa's. But that's what success does. And I'm really, really very happy to be here talking about the exploits of Team Nigeria at the World Athletics Championship. And we will not forget Esther Brume as well. The two athletes that the hopes were on, the two prospects going into this championship. We knew that anything apart from these two was going to be a bonus. We didn't get that bonus, but the two, on the very last day, lived up to expectations. And the weight of expectations, the burden didn't weigh the two athletes down. And we're very happy to be celebrating them tonight.
That's right. Just to also mention that they're both very good friends. They're always there for themselves. And, it was a beautiful time for both of them to inspire themselves. Toby's on her way to the airport for the Commonwealth Games. She's coming to Birmingham. I told her I cannot wait to have her here. But we spoke to her because we just couldn't lose that moment. So we will let our viewers listen to the new world champion in the women's 100 meters hurdles. We also have a legend of athletics standing by. We have Esther Brume. Esther Brume is still in Oregon, but she will leave soon for Birmingham for the Commonwealth Games. Esther Brume will join us. It's a loaded show dedicated to the development of athletics in Nigeria.
All right, so that sets the tone. I don't even know where we're going to start from. Austin, let me just yield the floor to you. That very interesting interview, we just had to do it. We couldn't let the moment slip by, even though she was in transit. But, we had that conversation.
That's right. Let's listen to the champ. Toby, when I reached out to Toby, she's like, I'm rushing to the airport. I can't talk. I said, no, Nigerians need to hear from you. And if there's anywhere they will hear from you first, it has to be Sports Tonight on Channels Television. So I called up a friend, Esther Brume. I said, Esther, talk to Toby. She needs to come talk to us, and then she had to, jump on that conversation. She's on her way to the airport to catch a flight to Birmingham. But ladies and gentlemen, sports fans, let's welcome Toby Amusan, the new world champion in the women's 100 meters hurdles. Congratulations, champion. Toby, can you remember in 2016, I was with you in Rio at the Olympics, right after that semifinals, and then we chatted and you said, don't worry that you're coming. You've arrived. Let's begin with what happened in Oregon. Toby, how did you speak it into existence?
Firstly, I would like to give God all the glory because it's an opportunity to be out here showcasing his talent. And coming into the competition healthy, I knew it was going to be a very good one, but I didn't want to raise my hopes way too high. But I was just trying to keep calm and, just execute each round and see what I can do in the final.
And you got into this competition with beast mode. From the heat, you broke the African record. Semis, you gave us a world record. And then final, you were something else. How did you prepare for this? Did you see it coming?
Honestly, I wasn't expecting the world record heat. But with the caliber of field that I ran against, I knew it's going to be close. But I didn't think we were going to break it. I can remember telling my coach, it's going to take a 12:19 to break the world record. Like, that's fast. And then, everything just happened quickly. And I kept everyone thankful. Like I said, once I'm healthy, you can do some damages.
A Nigerian has the world record in the 100 meters hurdles. Her name is Toby Amusan. She's that young girl from Ijebu. How inspiring is this to you?
It's great. It's great. It's great. I started off doing long jump, and then I went high jump, and then I started doing sprint. I know sprint was way, way too packed, and I was like, I'm going to try something else. I know the minute I started auditing, I had a lot of you can't. And I was like, see, y'all keep saying I can't. Maybe y'all want me to do it. So I'm just thankful to God that I chose that event. I mean, it kept my path straight and, things just worked out.
Toby, were you under any form of pressure before the final race? I mean, you broke the world record in the semis, so the thinking would be, how can she break the world record and not go on to win? Did it bring pressure?
Definitely. The girls are looking at me and they're like, she must be tired. And my coach kept telling me, everybody's looking at you now and they're saying you probably can't repeat it. Just go back there and act like it's the semis. And you'll be ready. Practice like we usually do. Nobody with you, just you alone and your others. I'm like, that's not possible. I was like, yeah, act like everyone is not, no one is in the race. I just kept my calm because now the pressure is on me, the pressure is on everybody. But I use more of their pressure to my advantage, knowing that, everyone is looking up to me in the finals. The only thing I can do is to stay calm and execute.
You had Kamicho by your side, Harrison on the other lane. You just broke the record. You're looking up to them. What did the Ninja spirit do to you? Knowing that you're running against the best in the world.
I'd be lying if I say I didn't acknowledge my presence. But, like I said, my coach told me to go into the race with blinders on because I practice alone in your park.
Yeah, I've always heard you say you don't look at other competitors, you just compete against Toby. How important is it for you to get into every race with that mentality that is just you competing against yourself?
I'm not saying I don't look at anybody. I'm not running against ghosts, but in a more clearer terms, it means that I have 10 obstacles in front of me, so I'm way focused on that than my competitors. I have just little things I can control and worry about. If I'm worried about I'm gonna get through 10 hurdles, and then I'm worried about who is in lane 1, 2, 2, 2, and that, then that's a lot of problem. Going into the race. But me blocking out the distraction and, turning blinders on, which means I'm in my zone, myself, my lane, and my hurdles. So, yeah, it feels great because that's how I practice by myself. So it was more like a planned, I would say planned. It's been the way I train. So competing wasn't that hard to execute. Competition wasn't that hard to execute.
So that's it. World champion in the women's 100 meters hurdles. She's a Nigerian. She's from Ijebu, they proudly Niger. And when we get to play the other part of that interview, and I asked her, you got on the podium and you cried. She said it was unbelievable that a Nigerian was on that podium and our national anthem was being played. Such an inspiration. Thank you so much, Toby Amusan, for putting Nigeria on the map, for giving the world something good to say about Nigeria. Let's get on with the conversation. Our friend, Ese Brume, was listening. Ese has been smiling. At some point, she got teary eyes. Let's welcome Ese Brume. Ese won silver in the women's long jump. Ese, good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. I see you smiling. At some point, you got emotional. What's the feeling to have a friend who is a world champion?
Oh, Jesus. Toby has been, working really hard, to achieve this success. And I've been with her. We've been together in so many competitions, 2019, 2020. She had all the chances, the opportunity, to be on the podium 2019, 2020. But to be honest, I would say that wasn't her time. Her time was actually waiting for her, which is now. And I'm so glad that God has crowned her effort. God has put a smile on her face, and not just on her face. He has put, a smile on the face of each and every one of us here, and a smile on each and every one Nigeria back at home. We are so happy and grateful for this good deed that God has done for her and for us.
Awesome. I got emotional at some point. When she won that gold, did you cry, Essie?
We shouted for joy. We even forgot that, that we were going to compete, because when she first of all broke the record, we were at the call room, preparing to go out there to compete. And then all of a sudden we saw the world record. It was so amazing. Like we lost it at that moment. We lost it, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy this is happening, at a time like this.
She said to me, Austin, Essie told me that if I know win, you Kosamo, because you were so excited that she got gold. Let's celebrate you before I hand over to my colleague in Lagos. You got silver, but Essie, you've been so consistent. 2019, you got a bronze. At the Tokyo Olympics, you were on the podium. Now you got another silver medal. What's responsible for this outstanding form that you've been displaying?
I'll say that it has been God all the way. It's not by my power, neither is it by my mind. It's not by the works that I've put in. Like what my coach will always say to me, he'll always say that when preparation meets opportunity, then you achieve greatness. So I've been preparing, yes, but it's not all about my preparation, but it has been God all the way. It has been the hands of God all the way. And I'm happy and I'm grateful to God for this. And I hope that it keeps getting better and better.
All right. Once again, AC, thanks for joining us. This is Yemi from Lagos. It's good seeing you immediately after exploits in Oregon. But I'm interested in asking you this because I saw the clips you were referring to. You were preparing for your own race, and you at that moment you were celebrating another Nigerian who has done well. But I want to ask what was going through your mind at that point. And you've been in situations like that. Also, talked about it in Doha, in Tokyo. You've been very consistent, celebrating and knowing you had a race. I mean, you had an event to compete in. How did you manage to keep your focus on what was in front of you?
So the thing is, for me, I'm this kind of person. When I see, when I always celebrate those, who have been celebrated and who are meant to be celebrated. Toby is my friend, and she has been working really hard for this, and we all have been praying for her to get this thing done. And I even said to her that, Toby, if you don't win this medal, if you don't win this hurdles, that it's going to be your fault, Toby, because we strongly believe that she can do it, she could do it. So at that point in time, when we saw it, I was so overwhelmed. I was so happy. And I had to tap from that grace which God had given to her. And then that, drove me into getting my medal at the World Championship.
All right. Okay. Let me also throw this in quickly. At some point, I don't know if you were feeling like that, but for some of us watching, I think the race before the final, before you got that jump that made you qualify, you were in a territory a lot of us were scared about. What was going through your mind before you got that leap that made you qualify? I think for the semis, what was going through your mind at that point? Because we're looking at the board. I mean, you hadn't got that jump that would give you an automatic qualification. So all through that period, what was going through your mind?
To be honest, at first I was a bit nervous, but then I had to remind myself the purpose why I'm there, the purpose why God, took me there, the purpose why He gave me the talent. And I had to remind myself that, come on, Esther, you're serving a living God. It is not over until it is over. So I had to take the bull by the horn. And with the motivation from my coach right there, I pushed hard. Why, preparing myself to go into the runway, I started speaking in tongues, reminding God that this is what we came here for. You have done it for Toby. So I tapped into that grace. And then that was how I went for it, took out every pressure and every form of negativity. And that was how I went for it and I qualified.
All right. Before I give the floor back to my colleague Austin, right there in London, let me ask you this. On a personal note, when you guys landed in Eugene, Oregon, what was your expectation? Now we know you've won silver, could have been gold, very close. But what was your expectation before the World Athletics Championship started?
My expectation of the worst, before it started was I had it in mind to come down here to, climb the podium. It has always been my dream, to be honest. It has always been my dream to be at the middle of the podium. But I won't say unfortunately. Fortunately, it didn't work out the way I wanted to be, but I am grateful to God because I am one step, I'm one step to reaching my goals.
Let's talk about the women's long jump final again. You were so close to winning gold, and then Mihambo again came from behind, and she stole it. What are we going to do about this German?
It is our time, and time and purpose, time and chance happens to us all. It's our time, so I celebrate with her, and I strongly believe that when it's my time, nothing is going to stop me.
That's right.
So for now, we'll celebrate with her, so we can celebrate that later. Yeah.
That's a good show of sportsmanship, and I see you right there giving her a hug. And yeah, it's a time. When it's Esther's time, nobody will stop her too. It's the Commonwealth Games. We're getting ready. Your friend Toby, she's on her way to the airport. When are you going to Birmingham, and what should we be expecting from you at the Commonwealth Games?
Hopefully by the end of before the end of the week, I should be in Birmingham, and then hopefully by the grace of God, I will be putting up a better performances at the Commonwealth Games. We're looking forward to gold, not just me. The rest of the team, they are looking forward, to a better performance, and I'm sure that God is going to answer our prayers.
Let's say what you are doing, Toby, not just to even Roots, Usoro, Favor, Philly, Rosemary, Chukuka, Joy, Udo Gabriel, even Grace Walkocha. You ladies are doing a beautiful job. I would just want to appreciate you. How much inspiration are you passing to younger girls, particularly those who want to get into athletics?
I would like to say to them that they should know purpose. They should know the purpose why they are doing what they are doing. They should know the purpose why God has given them the talent. They should know the purpose why God actually chose them. It could be anybody. So when you know purpose, abuse will not be abuse will be inevitable, When you know purpose, success will not be far from you. It will be a lot easier to achieve success. So know purpose so that greatness will not be far from you.
Awesome, be purpose-driven. Esther Brume, Olympic bronze medalist, world silver medalist. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you. We appreciate you for everything you're doing for the development of athletics in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
That's it. Esther Brume speaking to us from Eugene, Oregon Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Let's go on this quick break now. When we come back, more to come as regards the development of athletics in Nigeria. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We just finished speaking with Ese Brume. She won silver in the women's long jump at the just concluded World Championships in Eugene, Oregon. It's a beautiful, inspiring story Team Nigeria told the world at that championship, and we are still celebrating as we look forward to the 2022 Commonwealth Games that will take place in Birmingham. The opening ceremony will be done on Thursday. Let's go back to my colleague in Lagos. I'm sure, Yemi, we still have so much more to talk as regards athletics.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot lined up. I'm trying to catch my breath. And, listening to Ese Brume and Tobi Amusan, I'm inspired. But we also want to get other perspectives to all that we are discussing. It's a good time for Team Nigeria. And, of course, we also want to speak to people who've been there before, who've achieved it. Our viewers caught a glimpse of him. So let me just quickly go to him right about now. We have joining us tonight on the show Enefe Okudowobong, gold medalist at the Olympics, represented Nigeria, has done so well for Nigeria. Greetings to you. Thanks for finding time to be with us on the show tonight.
It's my pleasure. Always been my pleasure to be with Shin Channels.
All right, let's just dive straight into it. I mean, first, let me ask you, I know you've been there numerous times, but how did it make you feel that at least after competing in this event so many times, Team Nigeria was able to finally get a gold medal?
Well, on that Super Sunday, we call it a Super Sunday because we entered the last day without any medal. It's like it was all about fate because our hopes were hinged, like Austin had said earlier on these two people. We were expecting the bonus from the other athletes, the relay teams and the others. And when the bonus did not come, we felt that this is going to be another of those championships where we'll come back with a zero medal. But the performance of Toby and even Ese during the qualifiers of the long jump gave us a lot of hope, and we're very glad because those of us down here, we sacrifice our sleep to be watching the athletics, and I'm sure Austin in the UK did so too. And we were glad that the team at least came back with a medal. To be honest, the gold was a bonus. The world record was a double bonus because we had felt that probably they'll come up with 2 bronze medals, a bronze, a silver. I mean, nobody, I dare say, nobody must have said that Toby will win the gold. I mean, if anybody knows that, they should be working in some betting agencies now.
Okay, I can hear Austin laughing at the background. He obviously has something to say. But let me also ask this: if we had not won the gold, what performance would have been acceptable to you? Because it appears like you weren't expecting it. So even if we didn't get that gold, what could have Team Nigeria done in Oregon that could still have, gotten a pass mark from you?
Well, the truth is that the 4x100 women going to the final was a pass mark for me. The 4x4 mixed team, we remember these are the teams that we barely qualified for the championship. We were 16th. The 4x4 mixed team getting to the final was also a bonus for me. Having, if we had a female runner, Baby Favor, had entered the 200 final, that would have been a pass. Then in terms of medals, Ese winning a bronze or a silver was acceptable. Then Toby, the truth about it, a medal of any color would have been acceptable for Toby because on paper then, going into the championship, she was number 4. On paper, she was number 4. So we expected that she could topple probably one person and come back with a bronze. But at the end of the day, the team as a whole didn't do badly. They did as well as we expected them to do, as well as their, at least till Sunday, prior to Sunday, they did as well as their ranking on paper was. But on Sunday, I think everything just blew, the leads were blown open and we were just blessed with one performance after the other. It was an incredible performance, an incredible night.
All right. Last one from me before I yield the floor to my colleague Austin. A lot of people are asking, we're in celebratory mood, but a lot of people are asking, do you think this moment will be a turning point for Nigerian athletics? Because we have to ask that question. So for you, Nigeria getting to this height, do you think it's going to be a turning point for us in our athletics, or in spite of this win, there's still a lot of work to be done?
Well, there is a lot of work to be done, and that's the truth. But in truth, it should be a turning point. This is 48 hours after the great nights, after the competition is over. We're still talking about athletics. We're here on, with all due respect to Channel Sports, we're here on Sports Nights. We've spent almost half an hour talking athletics. I think we normally would have been given like 10 or 5 minutes. Also would have been fighting to give us some time to fight the great football on air. Would have been talking mostly about European leagues and the league. Nobody's talking about whatever is happening. It's athletics, athletics, athletics. I've been involved in youth development, and I know that lots of parents are calling me over and telling me, how can my kid get into hurdles? How can my kid get into athletics? I've been doing a lot of things. I've just been receiving phone calls, and people want to get their kids to athletics. I've been receiving phone calls from companies ready to even support programs that we've been trying to sell to people along the way. So things are changing, and I mean, the narrative is coming up. We have a world champion. No, let me correct that. We have a world record holder. We have the fastest woman that has ever in the history of Earth run the 100 meters hurdles. She's a Nigerian. It's an amazing feat. We cannot quantify it. And even up to now, I just had the interview with Toby and Austin. So I don't think she realizes that she can perform the magnitude of her achievements. It's incredible. It's awesome. We have everybody sending tweets and going to, from all political parties, the big ones, the small ones, from the Muslims, from the Christians, from the North, from the South, from the East, from the West. We're just one Nigeria. We're all proud. As a matter of fact, I think they are now calling her, I think you made reference to that, Toby of Africa. She's not Toby of Ijebu-Ode. She's not Toby of Ogun State. She's not Toby of the Southwest. She's not Toby of Nigeria. She's Toby of Africa. In fact, she's Toby of the black race, because I've been talking to some of my Jamaican friends, and they're all trying to relate that they came from Nigeria and they can associate, and they're so happy that it's been Toby. This is just an amazing thing. The news is flittered. Social media is flittered. Everybody, actors, actresses, they're all talking athletics. Everybody's talking. Toby has come from nowhere, and she's known all over the country. So nothing can be better for no one. Nothing, no one event can be better ambassadorial event for athletics than she has done. And it is now that we just have to pick up from this story. We have to look around. Is she the only? Of course, Toby is not the only person in 200 million Nigerians or 100 million Nigerian youths that are there. We have a lot others. What are we going to do? How can we replicate and duplicate what the Toby we have produced? And I say we because we definitely produced in Nigeria. All her career, she started in Nigeria before going to the US. How can we replicate that and have a lot of people so that when we go to the World Championship, we're not waiting for the final Sunday, the Super Sunday to get the medal. We are getting medals from the first day, from the second day. So how do we do that? What kind of infrastructure? What kind of investments? This is the discussion. This is the conversation Toby has created. And it's an amazing thing. And no one could have even been able to be more eloquent in convincing Nigerians and the corporate Nigeria, convincing the media that it's time to discuss athletics. I mean, it's a year that we're not going to the World Cup. We failed woefully at the All-African Games, our female football team. So we shouldn't even, I don't think I'll be very upset if I watch Sports Tonight as I usually do when I hear anything football for the rest of the year.
Come on. We will find a way to put a balance to it, but we will definitely promote anything that is proudly Nigerian, and that's why we're doing this. And I feel like it's good to have you on the show. You said it's not really a bad performance for Team Nigeria at the World Championships. Do you also put the performance of the men's team into that not so bad? Are you pleased with the way the men performed?
Well, apart from the unfortunate incidents of the relay, because we actually expected a lot from the relay, I wouldn't really say they did badly. I mean, we've had the sprinters doing well in circuits before the World Championship. We have the shot putters. We have to understand that the women's team have always been a notch above the men. The men have always been going through a gradual, rebuilding process. If we go back to 2 years ago, 4 years ago, we hardly had men that were qualifying for the event. And in the women's team, we just had one ambassador, and that was Blessing Okabari. But now the women have multiplied. They've grown more. The men are playing catch up. But I wouldn't fail the men based on what the record they came in with. I just feel that the only disappointment was probably the 4x1. We probably would have felt that taking the baton round and entering the final would have been something that they should have done.
I know. Let's talk about more ways we can leverage on this. And you talked about what you've been doing as regards the development of athletics at the grassroots. Remember, we also started the channels, Athletics Classics. I love the way you also came with your program. How important is it for us to keep the fire burning at that foundational level?
Yes, it's more important at this stage because our kids are now digital kids. They are all on the PlayStations and the iPhones and the tablets. And so playing sports is very difficult. And we're also in a situation where our schools, because of the proliferation of schools, the growth of schools, the number of schools, our schools don't really have the spaces for sports. We don't have spaces for sports. So a lot of times schools don't have sports days. Those that are trying have it biennial, they say once in 2 years. But we have to try and find a way that sports and athletics in particular, because athletics is one of the cheapest sports. All you need to do is to have legs and hands, and you can run, you can throw, you can jump. You don't need to buy a lot of equipment. You don't have to buy high gear. So at the developmental stage, everybody wakes up. Kids wake up, they run, they walk, they jump. That's play. Kids love to play. And it's that playing we should try to cultivate, look for the talent, nurture them, try to put them into organized events and let them say, look, you can play in the field here, you can run here, we will recognize you when you run here, we will appreciate you when you run here, you run in schools, run against people, have friends, play, enjoy yourselves. Once a kid at the age of 6, which is where I even start my developmental ages, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, have that habit of running, they enter their puberty years of between 11 and 14. Once you can catch them at that age, I tell you, we have champions at our hands. We have champions. That is where we lose most of our kids. We lose most of our champions at that age.
Before I let you go, you were trying to educate former world champion Michael Johnson on Twitter. What was that conversation about? Michael Johnson made a mistake. He should know that Nigerian youths own Twitter space. So when you try to do anything on Twitter, you don't try to criticize a hero, a national hero for that matter. Michael Johnson had sent a tweet just shortly after Amusan had broken the record, and he was doubting the veracity of the timing. And so coming from a real legend like him, a great athlete, someone that had broken world records before, we felt that it was not the right thing to do. And a lot of youths allowed him to make sure that their voices were heard on Twitter. And I put in my voice and I told him that I don't think it was fair if it was an American, or he wouldn't be doubting the times. And of course, Americans have broken world records too prior to that. And he replied and said that he doesn't mean anyone in particular. He's talking generally in the timing. But I think the backlash he got was something he didn't anticipate at all. And Nigerians are proud of their heroes. We don't care what it is. You allow us to criticize our own. You don't do it for us. That's right. I'm glad he knows that we're watching. Thank you so much. Enefi Okudobong, you're a legend through and through. Keep the good work you're doing with athletics going. We're here to support you. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you always. You've always been supportive. Thank you very much, Dustin.
Thank you. So that's it. Olympic gold medalist Enefi Okudobong talking to us after Toby Amusan and Ese Brume's exploits at the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon. Yemi, let's go back to you. I'm sure we have more reactions. Look, I won't stop talking about this. I'm talking about this October, November, December, all year long. I will keep talking about this.
And you have every reason to. And I guess Michael Johnson learned his lessons. I mean, just like NFX said, Nigerian youths own that space. Got to be careful. You have to be careful what you say. All right, reactions have continued to trail. Of course, the exploits of Team Nigeria at the just concluded World Athletics Championship. Let's quickly listen to the former president of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, Daniel Ngerum, in an exclusive chat with Channels Television, spoke on Toby Amusan, Ese Brume, and how to move athletics forward in Nigeria. Let's listen to him. We'll come back for more Sports Tonight.
Oh, you see, something we keep getting wrong here. Sports is massive now. Sports is a political tool. Sports is a PR tool. Sports is an image tool. So what do you do to get your name on front pages all over the world? If Nigeria was to benchmark and calculate this performance, we'll be paying millions of dollars to be able to be on all news media all over the world. So sports is a potent tool that Nigeria can leverage in an exponential manner. Why? We do have the basic fundamental talents. And don't forget, people of color around the world, both in UK, Canada, Australia, that really do well in the jumps and athletics are people with the same genome with us, the same genetics, as it were. So what has been bedeviling our performance is really administration and preparation. Sometimes we do have the money, but money ain't everything. You need to prepare, you need to have a program that you then train the athletes, support them, make sure you take care of their welfare and build it to fruition, just the way this one has culminated. At times, we're not very good at that. Let's not make it another Chioma Ajunwa moment, where it's taken us 25 years to have another major event like that. We can really have a conveyor belt of success by doing very simple things. A policy framework for athletics, and it's cheap. Take, for instance, when we were growing up, to do a long jump and triple jump, you just dig a trench, get sawdust from carpenters, watch the direction of the sun so that it's not on the athletes, and they can jump, and we're natural at it. All you need is a program. Then for the hurdles. I remember in my school, immediately after they were in Christ the King College on Nature, or even Government College of Mahe, where I did A-levels. Any carpenter can do those things. It doesn't have to be the best of the best. Any carpenter can do that. And I do remember when some Caribbean countries were beating us in athletics, like the Bahamas, which is about under 200,000 people. I took a trip there, and they didn't even have proper tracks.
All right, Dan Ngerum there speaking on what we have to do. And Austin, something very important that he said that we will continue to drum into the ears of the administrators. Let's not make this another Chioma Ajunwa moment. Let's not have somebody win and have to wait for 25 years before we get another one. Because if we put the right framework, we'll back it up with legislation and do all the things that we need to do, put the right people in the positions. I think these things will occur regularly.
You know, the good thing about Nigeria is that we're a country so blessed with talent, you know. It's just leadership that is the problem, administration, you know, and people leading us with purpose. You know, Ese Brume mentioned it when she was trying to inspire young girls. She said they must have a purpose, you know, that will guide them to success. We keep saying it over and over and over again. We used to do well with the school sports. We used to do well back in the day with athletics. Yeah. What happened? You know, whatever we used to do back then that we went to sleep over, we should do double now because we have more talent. Yeah, I mean, look, the future looks so good for athletics. And I'm sure when we have our next guest, He's going to talk about it. So it goes beyond Toby and even Ese Brume. When you even look at the guys' favor, Ashe, Shekiri, even Brume, Godson Brume, there's so much talent.
Sure.
It's just to get the right people who understand this, have a clear vision of where to take athletics to, work with the schools. Don't ignore that foundation that Enefio Kudobong just talked about. Implement good policies that will, get development. I think we'll do just fine.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, let's go on the show. We have a few minutes left, but just before we wrap things up, we have to go to the man who made some predictions before the event started. While we sat back, watched on TV, he was on ground, and most of the things that he said came to pass. Bambo Akoni joins us on the show tonight. Greetings to you, Bambo. Thanks for finding out time to be with us. I know you had a busy week, but thanks for finding out time to be with us. I must give you credit. Your predictions came true.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I did call it Super Sunday beforehand. I did say gold and silver for Toby and Ese. So, I've been watching the show until now, and I think Enefia was right that most people thought that, okay, if Toby comes here and wins a bronze, we'll be happy. But the way she ran in the heats, an African record basically jogging, I knew then that she was a gold medal contender. But I think nobody could have predicted the world record in the semifinals. I mean, what a night, what a day, Super Sunday.
I know.
All right, let me just throw one in before I yield the floor to Austin. We asked Enefio, and I'm going to ask you too, this performance, was it okay or you expected more?
Can you repeat that?
Team Nigeria's performance had just concluded the World Athletics Championship. Did it meet your expectation?
It exceeded my expectations. I mean, obviously, we just seen the best performance in Nigeria's history at the World Athletics Championships, the best night we've had, the best performance we've had, gold and silver. What more could we ask for? I think, like we were saying, most people would have been happy with maybe 2 bronzes, from this championship. We've also seen an African record from the women's 4x1. We've seen a lot of the individual athletes in the men's and women's sprints, 400-meter hurdles, reached their semifinals. Enekwechi as well in the men's shot put in the final again. So there's a lot to be excited about. This is the beginning of the new dawn for Nigerian athletics. This next decade is going to be so exciting. And I think Toby is going to open that door for other athletes, to come behind her and do the same thing. More world champions. I think we'll have our first Olympic champion on the track probably in 2 years' time. Hopefully that would be Toby, and maybe others as well will rise by then. So it's very exciting. And, I think that Nigeria is now on the map in athletics in a way that it wasn't before. And to the point of Michael Johnson's gaffe, the reason he could make that kind of mistake was because Nigeria has never had a voice in athletics. You'll be very intrigued to know that my Making of Champions journey started a decade ago when I watched Michael Johnson's Survival of the Fittest documentary, right? And even then, I was upset about how the African narrative is owned by other people and it isn't told correctly. His whole documentary was about the slave trade making the Jamaicans and Americans the fastest people in the world. And it was incorrect. So what did I do? I went out to find my own, I did my own documentary, interviewed geneticists, historians, some of the same geneticists that he interviewed. And that's how I got the inspiration to start Making of Champions. So it's amazing that it's come full circle 10 years later. And I'm very glad that he's gotten to meet Nigerian Twitter, Nigeria has a voice finally with the world record. He would not have said that if it was Kenny Harrison or another American that had set that record. He would have thought about the implication of that statement. So, Nigeria is here. Let's see how he commentates in the future when we start winning more medals and start breaking more world records.
I think now he knows who we are. So you guys, No more war, peace. Let's forgive Michael Johnson. Let's get him swiftly.
Better.
Yeah, Bambo. What's your assessment on Team Nigeria sprinters at the World Championship?
It's exciting. You have. Look at the men's side. Nigeria's fastest man, Favor Ashe, 999 in the trials, 10:00. Gave a good account of himself. Let's see if he can do another sub-10 at the Commonwealth Games. And if he does it 2 or 3 more times, he's going to be in that conversation as one of the best that has done it for Nigeria. So let's see if he can maintain that level. Obviously, he came out of Making of Champions. We're very proud of that. But then you look at, the men's 200 meters, Udodium, 19 years old. He's going to be a big star for Nigeria for the next decade. Favor Fili already being called Nigeria's star girl. She's maybe might be a little disappointed she didn't make the 200 final, given her new African record under 22 seconds. But she'll be back. And all the girls in the women's 4x1. That team that set the African record. Grace Nwokocha, Rosemary Chukwuma, Joy Udo Gabriel, Favor Fili. What a performance. And we're not even mentioning the girls who couldn't make this championship for, whatever administrative reasons. Tima God Bless, who was third in the trials. Ezine Abba, who just switched allegiance to Nigeria from the USA. And imagine what's going to happen when a newly minted world record holder decides to go back to her third leg in the relay. So I think it's exciting to fathom that, this team could start fighting with Jamaica and USA for the gold at the next Worlds at the Olympics in 2 years' time. And the men can do the same. The men should be able to get the Nigerian record if they put themselves together the right way.
Yeah. I think they should.
Or the coaches put them together the right way. Of course, we can't put it on the athletes.
It's 360. So with everything that you've talked about, it seems the future looks good. Am I correct?
It's exciting. It's why I started Making of Champions 9 years ago. It wasn't just me being angry at Michael Johnson's documentary. It was because of the belief that we have the potential, we have the resources, we have the talent to be the best in the world at this sport. And I knew always that one day Nigeria will have a world record holder. Perhaps I didn't think it would come this soon, but now that it's here, Nigeria is awake now. And Nigeria is beginning to understand and realize in our travels all over the world, while we made our documentary, everybody told us in Jamaica, in USA, in the Bahamas, that if Nigeria knew what they had, they would dominate this sport. No other country can say that, based on the numbers we have in terms of the talent at home. So let's go back and start looking for the next Toby Amushans, the next Favor Filis, the next Favor Ashes. They're all there in Nigeria waiting to be discovered. Let's go and get them.
All right, that's a good place to leave it on the show tonight. Bamba, we really wish we had more time, but we have to go. But first, I want to thank you for your time, and hopefully we get to do this again some other time.
Looking forward to it. Right after Commonwealth, let's do it again.
All right. All right. Okay, so that's Bamba going to giving us his thoughts, the CEO of Making of Champions. All right, also, we got to go. It was a fun ride. Doing a 1 hour show without talking about football. That's a record on Sports Tonight. That's a record. All right, that's the show tonight. We thank you for allowing us into your homes. And like we say, it's a privilege we will never take for granted. We'll be here again tomorrow to take you on a trip across the money-spinning world of sports. From the city of Lagos, right here in Nigeria, I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.
Don't stop telling that beautiful story. Go to any search engine, look for the world champion in the women's 100 meters hurdles. The Nigerian name will pop up. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.